All right, so hey everybody, my name is Katie.
And I'm Kevin.
And we're the Tebays. And we got married in August. Of course, it wasn't the day that we imagined or planned for, but obviously due to COVID, but it was the best day, of course. And we go to Holy Family here in London. We started going before the pandemic and really was looking forward to being a part of parish life there, but then the pandemic happened. So we're excited for stuff like this, just to kind of keep connected with the community, just online events like this. And we're very much looking forward to participating. And I think like when Connie reached out to us to write a testimony surrounding the Be Satisfied With Me prayer, there was no way that I could say no to it, just because this prayer literally has changed my life and has followed me in my journey in so many ways. So I first was introduced to the prayer in high school, and then it followed me into my first year with Net Ministries when it became the theme prayer for our women's session in training. And I had realized that God wanted to heal me of the many ways that the many things that have hurt me in my life. And then after Net, I had desired to marry young. I had looked to my parents and the way that they married young and the way that they started their family young, and I really wanted that, but it wasn't happening for me. So then I moved to London and started putting myself like out there in many worldly ways, I guess you could say. And I started getting the attention that I thought that I wanted. And I think that I really began putting my worth in finding / kind of being in relationships. Ones where I thought that, ones where they thought, I guess, that they could just show up for me when it was convenient for them. And I let them do that. And I truly let myself believe that I would never find the one, and that I would have to settle with what was in front of me. I think it really became numb to what I had really desired. And although praying the Be Satisfied With Me prayer, it had lost true meaning to me. I had forgotten one of the lines in it. It says, "You will never be united with another until you are united with me alone, exclusive of anyone or anything else, exclusive of any other desires or longings." And I did have, a really good Catholic community through all of the stuff that I was putting myself through. And my friends, seeing me struggling, introduced me to an event that was happening in Hamilton. It was just like a Catholic dating night. And I definitely needed a little bit of convincing to go to it.
Just a little, eh?
Maybe a lot. But I signed up for it. And I think that me signing up for it was kind of a sign that I needed to cut ties with this one kind of toxic relationship, I guess you could call it, that had a hold of my heart for about 2 years. So I cut that off a couple days really before the dating event, and I went to that night. So I went to the night and I matched with Kevin. Kind of sounds like Catholic Tinder. I guess it kind of was. And after that, after we matched, we started dating. And in my brokenness, I kind of expected things to go wrong, but they didn't. Everything went so right, and the Be Satisfied With Me prayer that I'd been praying for so long started to come to life for me and totally finally made sense to me. Guys, just like stop putting yourself through that hurt and, you know, those silly relationships that don't glorify God, it's only going to cause harm to you. Because when you realize that your worth is in God, and, you know, people say that all the time, but it's true. God is where your worth is. And obviously I'm truly blessed by the way that Kevin loves me and cares for me and brings me closer to the Lord. And it brings me chills kind of every time I think about the way that God brought us together. I want to end kind of my part of it by saying this one part of the prayer. And it says, "You see, until you are ready, and until the one I have for you is ready, until you are both satisfied exclusively with me and the life I prepared for you, you won't be able to experience the love that exemplifies your relationship with me. And this is the perfect love. And dear one, I want you to have this most wonderful love." So cool.
Yeah, good job, baby. So what I was going to mention is just that love and relationships are a tough world to navigate, especially nowadays. We all want to find our true love, and we wonder if we will actually find it. Some of us may find that love in a vocation to priesthood or religious life, and we'll essentially marry Jesus in this life, and Jesus alone will fill that space in our hearts. We'll have a special intimacy with him, and but the majority of us desire to get married. And it can be discouraging because it's hard to even find a good guy or girl these days, let alone like your true love. So the first thing to help us is we need to decide who we will listen to for relationship advice. The culture will throw at us all its ideas on how to fit in and be happy, but the best person to listen to for these truths is the one who created love and relationships, God. He really knows what's best for us and wants us to be happy. One of our main takeaway points for you guys today is before you jump into the dating world, the most important thing is to have our relationship with God before our relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. As I said before, we all have that empty space inside. My good priest friend, Father Greg Merkley, he calls it the God spot. So we were created for God to fill that void first and not look for someone else like a boyfriend or girlfriend to fill that. That's why we've shared this beautiful prayer with you today. And it really shows this idea that if we are satisfied with God, then we'll be ready to make important, very important, like dating choices. This way, we hopefully won't go through as much heartache. And the prayer will help us even during like the wait. Sometimes we have to wait a long time for God to send us someone to marry. So on my journey to Katie, I did have some heartache. Luckily, everybody I dated was, they were baptized Catholics, and they were good people, but like I was lucky that none of my relationships were like extremely toxic, but each relationship was just a different learning experience and a different set of circumstances, right? And on one occasion, I found myself with someone where I was trying so hard, but no matter what, they constantly made me feel like I wasn't good enough to complete them. And their expectations made me feel frustrated mentally, like almost like I was trapped. It was an awful feeling. And what I would do is I would convince myself that this is like as good as I deserve, you know, and I should be strong and be a saint, you know. I would look to the example of Saint Monica. She was in an arranged marriage a long time ago. I think it was like around 300 or 400 AD. Yeah, so she was the mother of Saint Augustine. Great story, you should read it. But anyway, she's in an arranged marriage to an abusive and terrible man. and she clung to Jesus through it all, and she became a saint. But the thing is God doesn't want us to be miserable. Our vocation is supposed to make us feel fully alive. And, that isn't to say that we won't have tough times. Those times are when we need to draw closer to Jesus. Father Mike Schmidt's also, a video I was watching through this time in my life. He has a good video, and it's called, Will I Ever Find the One? This idea of like a soulmate. So there's a lot of Catholics that talk about this, and you can delve into a lot of this, articles and videos. Their main point is that the church doesn't teach that there is one perfect person who is flawless. So when you are looking for a spouse, what they're trying to say is just don't be so nitpicky on every little imperfection. That's all they're really saying. So you can interpret that wrong, but that's basically what they're saying. And on the other hand, I also read a great article by, you might have heard of her, Jackie Francois, and the article's called "The Devil Wants You to Settle in Your Relationship." And there's totally a balance here, guys, because I really believe God doesn't want us to settle for a person who doesn't make us happy. As the prayer says, you'll see, God will surprise us with a love far more wonderful than you could dream of. And when I met Katie, I could not believe that God had someone in mind for me who was so close to being perfect, guys. Yeah, God surprised me. He really did. He surprised me, and he sent me someone I fell so in love with, and I continue to rejoice over my bride. One final thought here. It's important to not give up and be patient. Keep going to church, and just keep getting out there, putting yourself out at Catholic events, etc. And just draw more closely to Jesus, increase your faith, all those things. Before I met Katie, I felt free from my past relationships, and I was in a time in my life where I was just working on making myself a better person, and I was not expecting to find anyone on that dating night. I only agreed to help run the event, and I ended up joining in a week before because I was convinced to do so, and there was an empty spot, and Saint Raphael, he really came through for us.
It was on his feast day.
Yeah.
The dating night.
Yeah, so it was just awesome, and my goal that night was just to be myself and just have fun and really just meet women and learn about their stories, who they are, and their faith. And when I met Katie, I was stopped in my tracks, guys. And we just clicked, and it was so easy.
I think that a lot of us look to like our parents, our grandparents, kind of older Catholic couples in our lives that got married, and we think that is how our life is going to go. And the reality is that God has a plan for us as individuals. And we, our only job really is to focus on Him and our relationship with Him. Just allow ourselves to be guided by the Holy Spirit in every action that we take. I made mistakes, obviously, that I shared that I didn't do that. And that's, oh yeah, thanks. And I really believe that your season will come. I've been really drawn to the song lately, Seasons by Hillsong, and it's really fitting with, writing this testimony for tonight, and kind of ties in with the Be Satisfied With Me prayer. In the chorus, it says, I know the winter is long, even richer the harvest it brings. Though my waiting prolongs, even greater your promise for me like a seed. I believe that my season will come. I just love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's basically it, guys. So, God bless you and enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll be praying for you.
God bless.
Take care.
Yeah.